Today, in Becoming Breatharian, Step-by-Step Energetic Nourishment Program, we're going over Chapter 12, and this chapter is talking about extraordinary superpowers. Like they say, the only difference between ordinary and extraordinary is just that little extra, right? So what can we do to give ourselves just that little extra? Or what can we stop doing to release that little extra that's already there, right? To just become more aware. Can it be found in the air? Let's find out. Applying the laws of the universe. There are many superhuman capacities that I have received since learning how to feed my body and spirit on prana. After months of drinking only fresh fruit juices diluted with water, sustaining my life 100% on meditations and breathing practices, I feel completely satisfied and nourished all the time. After that, I started to develop the capacity to use my mind consciously, to use my mind as a tool to create my reality. Now just think of that for a second, right before we continue. Just the feeling, could you imagine being able to feel satiated, being able to feel satisfied, being able to feel nourished constantly, to not feel malnourished, but you're not eating much, right? A lot of people look at people who, they say, oh, he's not eating much. He looks malnourished, right? He looks gaunt, he looks frail, he looks malnourished. You've ever heard that? Like he looks like he needs meat on his bones. My parents used to tell me that all the time. You need some meat on your bones, right? Go eat some chicken, go eat some hog mugs, go eat some pig feet, go eat some chitterlings, right? Some collard strings and mashed potatoes and biscuits and gravy, and you need to put some meat on your bones. You look malnourished. But what if you felt nourished? What if you had courage? What if you were flourished, blossoming and blooming? What if your energy was booming and you didn't have to eat anything? Could you imagine? Could you imagine eating nothing, gaining everything? It's such a paradox. It's so paradoxical. To use my mind as a tool to create my reality, right? Like we know, the mentality creates the reality. By doing that, I consciously assessed the laws of the universe, the law of creation, and the law of attraction. Heard a lot about that one, right? After doing the 21-day process, and I believe that was started by Jasmuheen, talks a lot about the 21-day. My mind became very clear and sharp. For me, there was no overthinking. It is always a slow thinking process that is very refined. As our thoughts become refined, the message that we transmit to the universe is also clearer because there is no overthinking through the usual cloud of thoughts. There is just one thought, and this thought goes straight to the source. I want to create that. I want to experience that. The message is very clear. And also the feedback, the response of the universe, returns very clear and very fast. The manifestation of our dreams and goals comes very quickly and beyond what we could even imagine. Sometimes, when we want to create something from the mind, we want to control the process. We want to do it our way. And we think about how to do it and who's going to help us. We want to get the money and all the resources. So we put limitations on the creative process by adding all of these thoughts. However, when we just trust the source and send the message, holding a beautiful intention of well-being, we trust in that well-being and attract more well-being, right? Kind of like attracts like, right? Your vibe attracts your tribe. So we keep it alive and continue to thrive. If we allow the universe to surprise us in the way it will manifest, it happens faster than if we try to do it using our mind. So this is a really good point. Getting the mind out of the way of a natural process. You know, it took a lot for me to let my mind move out of the way. You know, that I was getting in my own way. There were so many things that my body could do, but what caused the blockages is what my mind knew, right? The things that I thought were real that just weren't true. Things that I had to break down, so many concepts on nutrition, minerals, vitamins, and what I thought I needed to exist. And I was in all of that resistance. But to be your own witness of what you realize, what you need, when you no longer feed into the idea that you are depleted, and you think deep down, I had all that I needed. So expanding my energy at will. Another thing I have discovered is the ability to influence my body, to influence how much my body processes the information that it receives. For example, I used to be overwhelmed by the influence of society, television, computers, all these differing energies coming from the planet and the people. Can you relate? Hit the like if you can relate, drop a heart. But after I became aware of prana and how to use it, I discovered that if I increased my energy field with love, with art, and compassion, I would become one who influences the environment that I lived in, instead of the environment influencing me. Now, this is so powerful. Just thinking about this, right? How he came to that conclusion, how he found his own solution, even amidst the cloud of pollution, right? He found more resolution. He's like, I can influence my environment. It doesn't have to influence me, right? That's like becoming a thermostat instead of a thermometer. We don't have to just be a thermometer. We can be the thermostat. We can set the temperature. We can adjust it. And it all happens when you just trust it. Right? Miraculous healing. Incredible healing starts to happen within and after the process. I have seen it. People who cannot walk start walking. People who have such intense arthritis that it prevents them from walking or moving freely start moving about, walking, using their bodies again. People who have HIV have come to the process because they are just desperate, and through this intelligent energy have healed themselves. Many cancer cases have been completely reversed, surprising the doctors involved in those cases. I was invited to participate and collaborate at a clinic in California's Silicon Valley. There, I worked with people who were very sick and urgently needed help. After just one session, I saw that as they were finishing the session, their skin began to glow. Their eyes glowed, and they felt happy. They felt that they were not sick anymore. They felt the illness just disappear. At the beginning, I couldn't even believe it, right? It's like Luke Skywalker with Yoda. I don't believe it. And Yoda was like, that is why you fail, right? Well, we just don't believe. Can we receive what we don't believe? For me, everything has been a huge surprise. But now that it has happened so many times and people are experiencing these amazing healings, it has started to feel natural for me to be a conduit of all kinds of miraculous healings. What is enlightenment? I was becoming an enlightened yogi without trying. Wow, interesting. This is the way a human body in this age, in this modern time, can be enlightened. It doesn't have to be enlightenment on a mountaintop or in a Himalayan monastery. This is a way to bring enlightenment into our society, into our reality as human beings, and walk in the streets, share with our community as these beings, knowing and interacting with the pure intelligence of the universe. This came to me because I was ready. Because if I learned from somebody else before I was ready, the experience would not be so powerful, so real, so simple, or so easy. The immortality of the spirit, slowing and stopping the aging process. As of this writing, I am 35 years old. I have learned that the maintenance of youth in the body through the Pranic Breatharian state is a very real possibility. How is it possible that our body can stay young for as long as we want? As we gain confidence in this field of energy and we access it on a deep level, we learn that this intelligent energy is immortal. This energy never gets old. This energy never dies and is without beginning or end. As we connect, as we sync with it, our body responds to that immortality inherent in the energy. So it stays young and stays healthy, as long as you choose to stay embodied. Let me read that again. So it stays young and it stays healthy as long as you choose to stay embodied. So it's a choice. It is the freedom that we have to control our aging process, the freedom that we have to control our vital cycle, the freedom to control our mind and how our mind processes the information about age and physical symptoms. When we access this intelligence, we recognize this immortality, and this immortality becomes part of our mind. Our mind sees life as eternal. My mind sees life as something that is beautiful to experience. I can choose to be here, alive, for as long as I want. Hunger and freedom. We are talking about the freedom to choose from the diversity of life and how to enjoy that diversity with balance. You are taking spiritual, mental, physical, and emotional nourishment from prana, that is normal and beautiful. It creates balance in the body, and the whole being feels comfortable. If we access this intelligent energy that is nourishing us, we naturally feel less hungry. We feel a decrease in the need for food. If we create a balance that is, for example, 70% prana, 30% fruit, that is perfect, because you are enjoying your physical body experience with the taste and the flavors of nature. For me, to be a Pranic Breatharian means that all the energy that I receive comes from the cosmos, from nature, and also from within myself. The way I feed myself is through conscious pranic energy breathing. Energy is in everything. Right here in this moment, we are in abundant energy. As you read this book, we are co-creating with prana, which is an interaction, an interchange of energy. And when we are conscious of this energy, when we can see it, when we can feel it, we are right away taking advantage of it. So just right now, even right now in this moment, just take a breath. Just absorb that, just breathe that in, just let it marinate, and just realize right now in this moment, as you're watching this or as you're listening to my voice, wherever you are, whether you're sitting down or driving your car, there is prana, there's abundant energy wherever you are. It is always in flow, and it follows you wherever you go. And when you tap into that, you already know. I have also learned to receive food through smell. Ooh, that's interesting. I did that as well. Because for me, I have come to discover that food smells better than it tastes. Wow, that is interesting. I did not know I wasn't the only one. I mean, of course I'm not the only one. So a lot of times, just by being around people who are eating and just smelling what is coming from their dishes, for me, it's like eating. Now, this was a crazy phenomenon for me. I didn't even know that Akahi went through this. But this happened to me as well when, back when I went, the longest that I went without food, or without food and water. So the longest part that I went without anything, without any calories, was around 2 weeks. I stopped counting at that point. But when I went that long without anything coming into my body, my senses started to open up. And my olfactory senses opened up, my nose just opened up, and I felt like a dog, like an animal smelling things. And I remember I was in downtown Los Angeles, and there's a place called Grand Central Market, and they just have rows and rows and rows of like vendors and food and places from all different places around the world, like different countries. Like you look over here, there's Thai food. You look over there, there's Chinese. You look over there, there's Japanese. You look over there, there's Mexican. You look over there, there's Italian. You look over there, there's a bistro, there's a bakery, there's everything in the same place. It's called Grand Central Market. And I remember I was just walking up and down Grand Central Market. Just walking, I would walk down this one, then walk up the next one, then walk down the next one. And all I did was just... And I was like, I mean, it might sound weird, but I was just smelling everything. And I swear, it was one of the most euphoric, I mean, I was high. I was losing, I mean, I was about to say I was losing my mind, but I was gaining something. You know, maybe I was losing my mind and coming back to my senses. It was like I could taste it. I was eating through my nose. It was a nosegasm. You ever have like a like it was a sensation that was hard to describe. And after I left, I felt high. I didn't have anything. I didn't have to buy anything. I didn't have to eat anything. I didn't have to drink anything. I didn't have to do anything. And I was so satisfied. And I was like, how did I never feel this in 28 years of my life? How did I go decades without knowing that satisfaction could be a breath away, a breath away. Peace could be one breath away. Bliss could be one breath away. Fulfillment, just one breath away. I had no idea. I was like, you mean it was this close this entire time? It was right under my nose. Are you kidding me? But that was my realization. It's like eating. I enjoy it a lot. My mouth wakes up to the memory of that taste because my tongue still holds the memory of those flavors. Good point. So yeah, the body holds memory of every experience that we've ever had, right? Even the ones that we think we forgot. Just by smelling it, it kind of reactivates those memories. And I feel like I'm eating. Very interesting. I feel like I'm actually enjoying the flavor of the food. For me, the desire to eat is not present. It's like there is no relationship with food. Food is part of the diversity of life. That's how I see food, as part of the diversity. And that we are here to enjoy this diversity with balance. That's what I want to transmit to the world and to people, that this is not about eating or fasting. In the 8-day process, we work directly with the consciousness of our electromagnetic bodies and fields. Some may know this as Merkaba, or the Merkaba, aura, the body of light. You know, we got all these bodies, right? We got our physical body, emotional body, our mental body, our astral body, our Buddhic body, our rainbow body. Like we catching bodies out here, right? In breath, silence, and stillness, activating harmonious sensational states through the conscious breath, working with our neurocellular systems, freeing the body, mind, emotion, spirit, emptying our being of old fears and conditioning that may be blocking our evolution towards universal love as the permanent expression of our being. As a consequence of this state of peace, love, and harmony, a great evolution of consciousness occurs naturally. The feelings of necessity created by the illusion of separation naturally fade away. including the necessity of eating, drinking, sleeping, getting sick, aging, and dying. Whoa. So let me read that one more time, the last bit. So, the feelings of necessity created by the illusion of separation, right? They say that's the greatest illusion. They naturally fade away, including the necessity of eating, drinking, sleeping, getting sick, aging, and dying. Wow. We obtain control over our vital cycles as internal codes are activated, magnifying atomic structures. With conscious self-reprogramming of the DNA, we have the opportunity to activate profound healing on all levels, with ripple effects reaching our families and children, benefiting all the new generations. We can dissolve old thought patterns and emotional conditioning, letting go of uncomfortable experiences held within our memory on a cellular level. By doing so, we are birthing our whole being and embodying all aspects of who we are. We can experience the body's self-healing capacities through visual activation and open new neurological pathways. We allow our innate wisdom to guide us, recreating ourselves in the experience of happiness, joy, and love. We can bring in the possibility of living on light and nourishing the body through pranic breathing. Wow. And that will conclude today's chapter. That concludes chapter 12 of Becoming Breatharian by Akahi Ricardo. From Wisdom of the Ages, from one of today's modern sages. Once again, this has been Jerome Shaw with the Pranic Pages.